Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, 810 News family. And good morning, Mickey. As Winters would say, the greatest producer in the world. Mickey, how you doing this morning?
And good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Hey, everyone. Before I introduce my guest, I would like for everyone to click, like, share, and subscribe. Click, like, share, and subscribe. If you could click, like, share, and subscribe before we get started, because y'all, we're going to get into it this morning. We're going to talk about it. We're going to respectfully get into it. We're going to let the guests, and I ain't introduced them yet because I want to, we need to get this out because the community been going through it. So I want y'all to click, like, share, and subscribe. Click, like, share, and subscribe. And then also, if you would like to donate, $ Cash App 810 News Media Group. We do not get paid for this podcast. I do not. This is just to keep the lights on so we can bring you good media and good guests, things that are happening in our community. Mickey.
Yes, ma'am.
Ready for me? Because we're getting ready to get the roll because I'm introducing my guest.
No, I'm ready. I'm going to take myself out and the floor is yours.
All right. I want to introduce, here we have Attorney Joe Canizo with Lentil Law Group, and we have the son of the late Councilman Eric Mays, Eric Hakeem Mays. And welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
How are both of you doing this morning?
Good. Doing all right.
Good. Doing all right.
Eyes open, birds chirping. Hey.
I know it is so nice to hear the birds chirping. In the wintertime, we don't think about it, but it is actually nice to hear the birds chirping, and I will agree. So, Hakeem, you've been in Flint for a minute. You are the only son of Councilman Eric Mays, a larger than life personality, actually, politician, because he loved telling people, he was a politician. I'm a politician. And he was proud of it. From UAW to mayors that he's worked under, to holding his council seat for a decade. You've seen it all.
A lot of proud moments, I will say most. There's a lot of proud moments.
Yeah, we look at all the mayors that he's worked up under, and been a part of helping them get elected. We go all the way back. I know he's talked about Sharp, Woodrow Stanley.
Oh, man.
Mayor Karen Weaver. He has worked with him and Don Williamson were really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two. Yeah, those two were really close. So you grew up in a household, and your father was very political, and he also was a union man. He loved that union. He retired from General Motors, and he was in the union, and he actually mentored one of your dad's friends, and she's a high union representative now.
I know.
And it's funny because he kept relationships. He would continue to build on them, and we get people. Each person has a little glimpse of who Councilman Eric Mays was, and there are many facets to who he was. Because he was something individual and unique to everybody.
Right. It was something different for everybody, more special than one than the other.
That's very true. So you have a sibling, and I want to make sure, because I mentioned her, because she has really been your strength throughout this. Your sister, Leah, who is a very intelligent young woman, and she has been your strength. Your sister has been by your side in all of your decisions. And your decisions have not been alone. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So your father had dealt with, and Joe, you became friends with Councilman Eric Mays because he had a lot going on.
That's very true.
He had a lot going on, because of some of his cases, but then he I don't think Mays knew he was really on YouTube and that popular. And before he was popular on TikTok, he was popular on YouTube. And so the YouTubes were taken to make TikToks. And he was not, he was just like, oh, yeah, okay. It was just like it wasn't a big thing to him. He was just like, wow, yeah. So tell me about your interaction with, because you're with Lentil Law Group, and how did Lentil Law Group connect with Councilman Mays?
Well, I mean, like you said, Mr. Mays had a lot going on at the council there, and you being on the council, I'm sure you know better than anyone just how that operates. And so there were, things that happened in various council meetings that our office, had noticed, and I think we were like, wow, this just is not right what they're doing to him. And so we made ourselves available to him, and he took us up on that, and it was a wonderful friendship and a wonderful working relationship, and I got to know him very well. Wonderful guy, and there definitely won't be another one like him in Flint anytime soon.
No, I don't think there'll ever be anyone like him in the world, and I don't. He was unique, and maybe to a degree eccentric, and I know that he was very good friends with the law group, with all of you. That's just how he was. I mean, he would connect with people. And so it wasn't just a working, he was very loyal to the law group. And so I think that, at his untimely passing, he had a couple of, I believe, lawsuits that were still pending.
That's right.
Which would be his next of kin, which would have made you had to have reached out to him to make sure that Councilman Mays' final wishes were carried out.
That's right.
So I'm going to get to, we've got our introductions. Let's get into, let's talk about the night. When, I think everyone got the call because
around the same time around the world.
I think it did shake everybody. Mickey, can you put up the article? I am live, and I'm going to tell you a story about it. I think this one was written by Ron Funger. Councilman Mays had a very good relationship with Ron Funger. He would call Ron Funger on the line, and everyone who knows him, he loved the three-way. He felt, I think the three-way conversation was created for him, and he would put you on the three-way. So this is one of the articles from Ron Funger, and he would get Ron Funger. If Ron Funger did a good article or a bad article, when he did a bad article, he would call Ron and let him know. It was not good at all, because I've been on some of those calls with them. But I even think with Ron Funger, when we covered it, it was something that people weren't prepared for. And in this article, it says Eric Mays first were councilman, a political lightning rod who represented some of the city's poorest people, has died at 65, leaving a legacy of fearless advocacy, in-your-face politics, and common touch that rang true with the voters who elected him 3 times to represent their interests in Flint City Hall. Mickey, we can take it out. I don't want to read the whole one, because that first paragraph, you can scroll that back down. That was who he was. He was a lightning rod. Councilman Mays was going to put it out there, like he would tell people, they just don't like my style. His style was different, truly, and it was his style. There were things that he would say that most people would not say. And so when he does leave a legacy.
I think that's what resonated with people, Tonya.
I agree, Joe. I agree. So because he was fearless. He was fearless. So Hakeem, upon learning the evening, which was February the 24th, first of all, are you comfortable with talking about how you found out that your father passed away?
I'm comfortable with it. Well, I was home in Grand Rapids, and it's sad to say, it was the day before my birthday, so I was enjoying, out with the family, and I got the call that my dad was getting chest compressions, and I got the call, I'll say maybe 10 minutes later, that he had passed.
And I'm sorry to hear that. Um, it's never easy. I have not had to lay my parents to rest, and I'm blessed. I cannot imagine how you felt.
He was my last living parent, so
Your
that made
mother, your mother, her name was, I believe, Wendy.
Yeah.
Am I correct? And your mother passed away, is it 17 years ago?
Yes.
And so I know that you have a unique bond with your sister, and she's helping you through this.
Mm-hmm.
So having the two parents passed away, it's really just it's you and her now.
Well, I have two other siblings as well. Well, one other sibling. I have a little sister.
Okay. And you and Aaliyah are pretty close. She's really a rock for you.
Yeah, it's been like that since we were kids.
Yeah. So you're married
Mm-hmm.
and you have children. How many children?
I have a total of 4.
And the children's ages are
16, 9, 7, and 2.
you have some beautiful children. You do. And that little 2-year-old is a little love bug.
He is. I don't know where he get it from.
I think I kind of know. He's always got his hands out and iron. He's just a cuddly little thing.
Man.
He's just a little cuddly.
No matter where we are, he wants to hug somebody.
He does, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, he's a power of positivity. I say that.
Oh,
Makes a lot of people's day.
I don't have grandchildren, so I wish I did. So my children, I don't have them. So the night that you found out from a family member gave you a call.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think things started to go, to move forward. I know that when I found out Joe, I went over to Eric's house because we had been, I had been going over there, dropping off food, and they did a caravan, some of the, people and different things to make sure he was okay. But every day he was talking to, because one of the things was to make sure he was not taking everyone's calls. His calls that he was taking were limited, but he was contacting your law group every day. Is that true?
Yeah, he was.
He would take my calls as well, but he wasn't probably taking as much as I would have liked him to.
Right. And he would. But the rest of the world, I think he was saying, I'm focusing on my health.
Right.
Is what he was saying. So the night that he passed away, Joe, you called me.
I did.
And so I think no one wanted to believe it.
Well, if you remember, I think the first thing I asked, or the first thing I said to you when you picked up the phone, is you were crying. And I said, "Oh, Tonya, you're crying, so I guess that means it must be true." And you said, "Yeah, Joe, it's true."
Yeah. He's going to be missed. And I was with Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Hakeem, as my heart goes out to you, you've got people who do care and love you. You do.
Yeah.
So as you went through this process, there was the time that I believe that was on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the next day. The first thing people always do, you pay respects to people's family. And
Correct.
so you were at a relative's home.
Mm-hmm.
And you and your wife, I don't remember seeing were the children there?
Nope, they were back. They were back home. No, they weren't there.
Okay. And so as this process has gotten, as the process is going on, you were there at your families. I know people were reaching out. Several people that I know did go to show their respect.
Mm-hmm.
And so can you tell me about the night that would be the day that you were there at your family's home?
Mm-hmm. Well, after everything happened, the next morning I jumped on the highway, went to family members' houses, and the house, I should say, and they were sitting down, they were planning stuff, and I was telling them that what I disagreed with, and I was there for a few hours. It didn't seem like it seemed weird, to say the least, but I was there. I was trying to put what I wanted together, but it was like I was being heard but not listened to. So I went back home the following day, and then that's when I found out like everything just started turning into a freak show.
Okay, so you were there with your family and you felt you weren't being heard.
Yes.
And so you went home that evening.
Mm-hmm. Well, the following morning.
The following morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so people were coming in, and I saw you at the home,
Mm-hmm.
and I came to show my respects, and so did many other people who genuinely cared about about Councilman Mays and want to show their respects to the family. I know when I came in, you were sitting. I had to go back into the kitchen, and you were sitting up against the patio door. And you had to move a chair and to get back because I wanted to embrace you, and that.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but that when you embraced me, that was the first time I actually felt the love coming from that room.
My embrace was genuine. It was.
I know.
It was, and as we carry you through this process, so I left. We came back a second day because in the Black culture you bring food because you that's what we do, and so when I came back the second day, I brought food, and I brought food for the family because they were receiving people, and there were still people coming. There were a lot of people who were really showing their respects to the family, to your family, and to you. You were not there the second day, so it was to to show respect, and that was then things started. I think things started changing. I know that anytime that you bury someone, there's three things that in any family that will go through a family. One would be a wedding. That could be, a wedding, a funeral, and a divorce where families can split. Those are the three things. And it seemed your family is now in court. And you're all over social media, every media, not just social media, all media. And it seems to be divided. I know there was a tribute, because before we get into that part, Mickey, there was a tribute, which was a candlelight vigil. And then there was also a balloon release. You were at the candlelight vigil, which was held downtown. And the amount of people showed up, it was really kind of last minute because we're in Michigan. The weather will change 20 times a day. Yeah. And the weather kept changing. The community people were doing different things. There were children at school who were doing tributes to your father at some of the schools. There was a balloon release, which was done by Kennedy, which is Gina Luster's daughter, and an egg hunt. And then there was the vigil, which was downtown because the community just wanted to connect. And that candlelight vigil was actually really nice. It was very nice. And to see the people and the speakers and
the turnout was excellent.
Yeah, because it was really kind of like a I want to say a 24 to 36 hour, because it was cold. It was 19 degrees. Like
it was 7 degrees to 19 degrees overnight. That's the craziest thing I ever seen.
Listen, it's Michigan. It's Michigan. Yeah. So the candlelight vigil, which was really a beautiful event. Mickey, can you put up M Live did this is the candlelight vigil. And I don't know, Mickey, can you play it? Which was in front of Flint City Hall. And just look at the people.
There's still work to be done in our state. There's still unity to be brought together.
Mr. Mays is here. And we need to make sure that we keep that alive. Amen.
He taught us that there was so much about this city to be loved because he was Flint. If there was to be a Mr. Flint, it would be Councilman Eric Mays.
Praise the Lord. Jesus is the light of the world. And so we're raising a candle lit tonight to him. Yes, sir. To let him know that we.
Thank you, Mickey. So the DJ, your dad had a show every Saturday on 98.9. And his DJ was there doing a DJ updo. And it took me forever for some reason to call him DJ Up. That's not his real name. That's his stage name. But he was your DJ. And then we had Lentil Law Group. You had Mayor Karen Weaver speak, former Mayor Karen Weaver speak. You had Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter speak. You had the Lentil Group spoke. I believe John Fernandez, he spoke. Joe, did you speak that day?
Yeah, he and I both. Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I was moving around. There was a lot that was going on.
Oh, I definitely love my support group. Even ones that surround me and the ones that surround the world. I thank everyone, every last one, because it's been a journey that I don't think I could have took by myself. I will say that. And like I said, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I know that, I'm not the only one affected, or grieving behind it. Like you said, he had so much of a platform to where it's like, basically I was sharing my dad with the world. I loved it.
You definitely shared your dad with the world. And, it's different people that I talk to. And it's interesting when people say, Tonya, this is how when I found out about it. People grieve in a different way. And I think you and then your family are grieving in their own way. But he was able to connect, which is different, but each person in a different kind of way, which is really hard to do because he forged relationships and friendships with people that really made people feel special and unique. And so there were many facets to him. Now, he liked you or loved you or cared for you if you had a real big fallout with him.
Right.
Because that was going to happen. But the one thing with Councilman Mays, he always answered the call. He picked up his phone. And his last call was that he took basically when he went, to be with the Lord. And, people, I remember the first time years ago, over 10, and he was praying and we were at the table. He got down on his knees. People, he had good knees. He would pray on his knees. He was not going to cheat the Lord. He was not. That's the way. He was not politicking with the Lord. Not at all.
The only one that he wouldn't politic with, right?
Exactly. So you are his son. Last night, his only next to kin, his first next to kin. You don't have any other. Councilman Mays did not have any other children. He would talk about it, council. When in some of his, he would tell them, I don't know who you think you're talking to. My son don't talk to me like that. And so, and if people they go through, you'll hear some of them, that now even some of them have been transcribed to TikToks and you'll hear him saying to people, his son. And so, and during COVID, I believe you lived with your dad, which that had to be tough with your children, and so Councilman Mays was really, his private life was private because everything else about him was so public, but he would talk about his son. He would. So last night I'm looking on social media and there have been many of articles and lawsuits and you're trying to get your father's body, have you been able to view the body yet?
Not yet, Tanya. So we attempted to, as a matter of fact. We went to Moon Funeral Home yesterday, me, Hakeem, and the bishop, Patrick Munnerlin. And the reason that we did that is because following court hearing that we had Thursday, the judge in that matter, Brian Pickell, had released an order, and that order did a few things. All right. Number one, it extended the temporary restraining order that he had previously put in place to preserve the status quo, meaning that Moon and the other defendants named in that case, who are Eric's siblings, cannot move forward with any services that they had planned for over the weekend. And really until the next hearing and the matter is adjudicated further. But I say over the weekend because there were things that were planned to take place this weekend. So those had to be canceled. It also allowed us to go visit his body at Moon. And essentially the order said unrestricted access, and the defendants shall not interfere in our ability to do that. And so we took a copy of the order and we went to Moon Funeral Home yesterday, and we go in and we're greeted by a woman, and she calls over a large man, and they both explain, they ask, who are you and why are you here? And so I introduced myself. I said, this is the son of late Councilman Eric Mays. This is Eric Hakeem Mays. I'm his attorney, Joe Canizzo from Lento Law Group. I said, I have a copy of the judge's order, and you're more than welcome to have it. I've got plenty. And pursuant to that order, we're here to see Mr. Mays's body. And we're told, well, the morgue is locked down right now, and Mr. Moon's not here. So unfortunately, I can't help you. And that's what happened. So we've been denied access now.
So you have not been able to see your dad since his passing on February the 24th?
Nope.
Have you been involved in the decisions with the funeral?
No.
You mean, Tanya, with respect to the siblings originally?
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like, it's leading to two separate funerals that are being planned.
Hakeem is in charge of what we hope is going to be the actual official funeral at this point. Anything that the siblings had planned, like I said, can't move forward and have already been canceled. So
so that was in the court order.
That's right.
Okay. So I want to get back to what I've seen because how did we get to the point, and Mickey, if you can put up the affidavit, how do we get to a point to where you have to prove he's your dad and you want to make funeral arrangements for your dad? And so
I can take you through how we got to where we are today, Tommy. If you
hold on just a second, Joe. Mickey, if you can put up the affidavit so people can see it. I believe it's already redacted. And then while Joe is talking, so I just this is the affidavit that has been put up on social media, and actually filed in the court. And so the court case, and not just this, the insurance policy was put out there too. It was given to the news, and it was not given to the news by any of you. Do you, Hakeem, have a copy of the insurance policy?
No.
Attorney Canizzo, do you have a copy of the insurance policy?
I do not.
Okay. And it was put out there on social media. So here we have the affidavit. So how did we get to where this is showing that it's the affidavit of parentage, that he is your dad, that Eric Bradford Mays was the late Eric Mays was your father.
And signed by him, by the way.
Right.
He was a printer. He loved to print. This is his handwriting. Yep. I saw him write is it a brief? He hand wrote it. I'm like, he
loves those ballpoint pens. So he always had to have like this special pen, especially to write his signature.
Yeah, that was him. So, Joe, how do we get to the point to where the news media has a copy of the insurance policy, and the affidavit? How did we get to this point where he had to prove this is his father?
Well, I'm going to take us back to the beginning. Okay. So the night that he passed, February 24th, after he passed, the Genesee County Medical Examiner's Office is contacted, and an investigator is sent to the residence. Amanda Rhodes was her name. And when she gets to the residence, she's greeted by two of Eric Mays' siblings, Veronica Simon and Sherman Mays. And she conducts her death investigation. And as is customary during that death investigation, she has to try to ascertain who is next of kin. Okay. So Eric did not have a will. And had he had a will, none of this would be happening. So that's my number one tip is if you don't have a will, get one. Because you
get a will.
Yeah, you can avoid a lot of hassle. But not having a will, she proceeds to ask them, okay, well, was Mr. Mays married? And those two defendants say no. And then she proceeds to ask, well, did Mr. Mays have any adult children? And they say no. Now that's
what do you mean they say no? Is that in a verbal or written form?
They respond to her questioning.
Okay.
They answered no to her.
Okay.
And that's despite knowing full well of the existence, the age, and the parentage of their nephew, who they've known forever. So you can't call that really anything else but a lie or a mistruth or a half truth. So we have that information in a sworn affidavit from Investigator Rhodes as to what happened that night. Now, before I go on to the next event that happened in the chain of events, I want to explain why Investigator Rhodes went through that line of questioning, okay? Because I think it'll help people understand the significance. So I would encourage people to take a look at Michigan Statute 700.3206. All right, that is the statute that lays out who has the right to control the disposition of decedent's remains and their funeral arrangements when they pass. Okay, and if you look at that statute, all right, it lays out a pecking order as to who has priority. So the first priority is if the individual was a serviceman, well, then there are special procedures that the military will pursue. Short of that, they defer to a written document, a will or a funeral designee. Well, in this case, Mr. Mays was not a serviceman. There was no will or funeral designee. So then we get into the list of the family members. And the one who has first priority would be a spouse. If the person was married at the time that they passed, well, then everyone takes direction from the spouse who has the power. If they weren't married, then you go to the adult children. And biologically and legally, Eric Hakeem Mays is the only adult child. So he is the decision maker in this case. Now, ironically, it's public record now. We know that the siblings in this case, Eric Mays' siblings, are the defendants in this matter. They don't even have next priority under that statute after Hakeem. I'm sorry, what was that?
Who would be the next? I
don't have the statute in front of me, but I believe, if I remember right, the next one would be if Eric had living parents. So they would be next in charge. And if Eric didn't have living parents, I think it would even be one more. It would be living grandparents. The siblings are way down the pecking order. They're like fifth in line. Under that.
Wow. Okay.
So
now, what about grandchildren? Because Hakeem has got 4 children, 2, 7, 9, and 16.
Well, usually, I don't have the statute in front of me, like I said, but I believe that they'd be even further down the list.
Okay.
So after what happened next is after that line of questioning, Amanda Rhodes conducted her investigation, and the body was taken into Genesee County Medical Examiner's office. And it was finally released pursuant to a written authorization that was signed by another one of Mr. Mays' siblings, Reggie Mays. Now, again, because he's a sibling, he did not have authority under the law to sign such an authorization. He's not the one with the power to make that decision. And that authorization permitted the medical examiner's office to release the body to Lawrence E. Moon Funeral Home. And so they did that. And to today, despite our repeated requests to contact Moon and we've provided them with signed authorizations from our client. We even provided them with a signed authorization from Paradise Funeral Chapel, which is his funeral home of choice. Moon Funeral Home is refusing to release the body. And that brings us to where we are today.
So here's one thing I want to dispel, because they have out there that the funeral is going to be in Saginaw. It has never been stated. I believe with either side that it would be in Saginaw. But where did the Saginaw component come in at?
No, because that's where Paradise is located.
Okay, were you able to get a local funeral home to do the funeral at first?
I believe that we do. I haven't really been involved in much of the planning. I mean, like I said, I've deferred to Hakeem on what he wants to do with that. So I don't know too much about what his intentions are in terms of plans being made right now. But Hakeem, if you want to try to talk about some of that.
I mean, with that, it's just with all the mess and drama here dealing with the funeral homes in Flint, I just wanted to try to get, I guess you could say, get them away from that part. But far as the funeral and all that stuff, he will be here in Flint to be in front of his family, friends, and peers.
Okay, so the funeral will be held here in Flint. It's not going to be in Saginaw.
No, I wouldn't take that away from anybody here. You know,
okay.
He's too loved and respected. That's why I wouldn't, you know, like we were talking about with weather and all that stuff. I wouldn't try to have people trying to. It's already so much going on with last minute this and last minute that. So it's like I wouldn't take that away from anybody because my dad is Flint. Like you said earlier, my dad is Flint.
He was everything Flint.
Yeah, so I'm not going to be like, oh, I got to come here. Nah, it's not. No.
So the funeral will be held here in Flint.
Yes,
You've had to use a funeral home in Saginaw because you didn't have a funeral home that was able to or willing to take your dad's, to do a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to go outside the city of Flint. And so you chose Paradise to hold those funeral services for you. Correct. And so, I mean, and it's hard when you're trying to grieve, and at the time you got to plan a funeral. A lot of times your decisions, and you've got all of this coming at you.
That I never seen coming.
No. I mean, you wouldn't. So the affidavit, Attorney Canizo, and the insurance policy. Mickey, do you have the insurance policy? These were things which have been put up on social media. So you don't even have a copy of the insurance policy. And
hold on 1 second. I'm finna get it.
Okay. Go ahead, Attorney Canizo.
Sure. I can tell you this. I'm not going to disclose names, but I did receive a one-page document from a reporter who I had a conversation with. I conducted an interview with, and he offhandedly said to me, "Yeah, I was reviewing Mr. Mays' insurance policy," and I cut him off. I said, "Wait a minute, you have a copy of the insurance policy?" And he said, "Yeah," and I said, "I don't even have a copy of the insurance policy, despite repeated requests to the city attorney's office and the human resources department's office. They are refusing to give it to us." And so I find it really ironic that they'll release it to the press, but they won't release it to the potential beneficiary. So that is the copy of the same document that I have, and it's just that one page. That's all I have. So to say that I have a copy of the life insurance policy, I don't, because I'm assuming that if that is genuine, it's probably part of a much larger document that I would like in whole.
So here it states, the life insurance policy is by TV5, and it tells you that the type that, and this is on social media, this was on the news with TV5 WNEM, and they have been following this case. I guess it has turned into a case with the funeral and the death of the late Councilman Eric Mays. They have done a lot of coverage, TV5, and with all the news stations. I mean, the articles it's everywhere. So this states an elected official would get $75,000 as a death benefit. Exempt would be 40. Low level would get 25. So your father would have received, Councilman Mays, or you, the next of kin, a benefit of $75,000. So you went to the city and asked for a copy of this. But there was an article in the journal in the journal where they stated that your dad did not, Mayor Neely, Sheldon Neely made a statement that your dad did not have any beneficiaries. Now, here's my thing. That's a privacy issue. That is not something that I felt the mayor should be releasing, that in a statement that your dad didn't have any beneficiaries. So when you went to because you have not even been able to see a copy of the insurance policy, and Mayor Neely is discussing who the beneficiaries are, or who, or if there are any. So when you went to the city, what happened? Were you able to get a copy? What were you told?
No. So we first went to Human Resources Director Ed Smith's office, and he said, no, I have it on order from City Attorney Bill Kim. We're not to release that document to you. And so then we went to go see Bill Kim in his office, and he said, short of a court order or the appointment of an administrator to Mr. Mays' estate, we're not producing anything.
So you go to HR. HR tells you they have to contact Attorney Bill Kim, the chief legal officer. He tells you that he's not giving you a copy of the insurance policy, but he's released it to the news, and the mayor is discussing who the beneficiaries are and articles.
It doesn't make sense, Tonya.
And listen, those are just the facts. So we know now that there's a policy for $75,000. That's, you are the next of kin, and this part may have to, with the city withholding it, looks like this part's going to play out in court, unfortunately. So we go on to, I'm going to take people, because this has been a lot that's been going on. So the day that because there's been so many interviews and there's a lot of coverage. So your father was very good friends with Mr. Lento. So Mr. Lento, did he offer to pay for the funeral?
He did. As soon as he found out that Mr. Mays had passed, Mr. Lento wanted to honor his legacy and give him the send-off that he would have wanted and would have deserved. And so, Lento Law Group, Mr. Lento specifically said, let's do everything we can to try to give him the proper homegoing.
So would that have been a limit monetarily, or yes or no? Was there like, look, we need to do this under 20,000. We need to do under 25,000. I'm only giving 10,000. So or I'm giving 30,000. Was there a limit?
No, unrestricted.
Unrestricted. Okay. Well, that's a homegoing. That's probably similar to his birthday party, which was a very
wonderful event.
It was a beautiful event,
and he enjoyed it. That's the most important thing. He enjoyed it, and I saw the other day a clip from the party of him dancing, and he was having such a ball. He really was.
That was with Dominique. I call her Mickey Gale, and some people call her Lady Brick. And that clip, I'm like, what are they doing? But they were getting down. She was like, we was doing
the donkey punch or something. She said it was. I can't exactly remember, but I thought they were doing the robot. But she said it was the donkey punch or something. I forgot what she said. It was something like that.
But they have been friends forever, him and her, and that's kind of friendships that he's had. She comes to council meetings. If he was someplace, she would go, but they were just friends, just really great friends. And, so let's get back to the funeral part. So it was unrestricted with the amount of money. And so funeral arrangements were being made initially with the family. And you were the first day that you...
I don't mean to cut you off. It's just a minor pet peeve that I have as his attorney. Because I've heard a lot of people say it. They say the family. I want to stress, and I'd like to reiterate, he is the family. He is the priority number one family. And then we have the siblings, who of course are also family. But I just like to make that distinction.
But they're separate. And they're separate. So he is the immediate next to kin, and he is the first person who that I guess that you go to, because as you read the report, it asks you two things. One, are you married? Was the person married? Two, did they have any children? And so he was never married. Now we hear it's a lot of women he may have made wedding promises to.
Oh my God! Yeah, I heard about her.
Yeah, well, I know Nikki Reed, but that's not the only one. I mean, we're not the ladies love the councilman.
Oh my God!
The ladies love the councilman. I mean, I'm gonna say that. And I know you growing up, you've met a lot of them, and I've
to say the least, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it has been, but I would say there was a genuineness. I know to get him out of the house, I had spoken to, he had, Poochie, Poochie, and I had a call with Poochie and Dr. Pamela Pugh, and we were on the phone, and I said, look, Poochie, Pam was like, Tanya, I'm worried about him, and I think they thought he had a little virus, and everybody had been sick on the city council at that time. Everybody had been sick, and I think Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, she had been out for probably like about a month because she had been sick. And so we were on the phone, and people would call him to say, hey, I need to bounce this off of your head. All right, well, let me hear it. That was him.
Right.
And so Dr. Pamela Pugh is running for office, and she was like, Tanya, Mays always picks up. I said, well, you need to get Poochie on the phone. So the three of us are on the phone, and we're talking. And so I'm like, Poochie, you can get him out the house. And so I said, but you got to kind of trick him to get him out. So women do plan on y'all. We will plot on y'all. And so the women came together, and Poochie got him out the house, and he went to Telly's. He loved the Coney Island, and him and her went out. And I think he meant, and I know he meant a lot to a lot of people, that people and friends were concerned. So let's get back to, so with respect to your attorney, Kenny, so the plans for the funeral, were you able to make any plans that you wanted, Hakeem, for your father?
Are we talking separately from them?
Separately. So what was were you able to have your input? What was your vision of how did you want to put your father away?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm still putting it all together because I'm so bombarded with everything and so many different things. I'm getting punched left and right. So it's like I haven't even had the proper time to even grieve or plan out anything, but I know I have to. So it's been tough trying to deal with all this.
And Tanya, one thing, if I can add to that, is it's difficult to plan things when the court process is still up in the air at this point, and with delay that's being incurred by opposing counsel and the defendants in this case. I mean, we could have, it was our hope that we would have had a determination in this matter at our prior hearing on Thursday, but then opposing counsel asks for an adjournment request he wanted it until Wednesday of this coming week. And the judge, fortunately, because he understood the urgency, only gave him until Monday. So that's when the next hearing is going to take place. But it's these delays like this that make it impossible to really plan something solidly.
How many times have you been to court over this?
So far, twice. And
Monday will be the third time.
That's right.
And this is just over to try to allow his next of kin to make funeral arrangements.
And have possession of and custody of the body. That's right.
This will be 3 times on this coming Monday.
That's right.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So
it's heartbreaking.
So Councilman Mays was a showman, and I'm gonna tell you this. Who let him get on that horse? Because he was so proud of that. He had called me. I'm like, oh, what? I got on that horse. Like, what are you doing? Where'd you find the horse at? I remember when the marching band, I have 2 TikTok. There's TikToks of these. He called me up when he was at the airport once he got in the car. And he said, Tonya. I said, what's up, Mays? Listen, it's some wild shit. I had a marching band at the airport. I said,
we love that marching band.
Yes. I said, where did you get the band at? He said, man, they set it out for me. So I won't play one. We're gonna do the horse first because I don't know this man up on this horse. That one was for Mickey. There's a TikTok. And I don't know, I sent you some of the things. Do I need to send it back to put at the top for you? Mickey.
I'm talking to you and I was still muted. I'm on here. I said you can if you want to. I was looking for it.
Okay, well, let's put up, okay, if you scroll up, it's, I'll send it back so that one's at the top. So the horse one is coming up. And then the next one after that one, Mickey, I want to do because he loved the marching band. And then he was on the football field with them. I mean, he was a showman. If there was a camera, a TV camera, a telephone camera, any type of camera and a microphone, he was going to be on it. I mean, that's just who he was. He was going to take an opportunity for every single time he could get news media or to be heard. That was him. So Mickey, you got it. This is him on this horse.
Point order. You got me on a horse. Y'all don't know. Now I feel like I've been to Little Rock.
I said I never seen that.
Thank you for playing that, Tanya. I think that's the first time either of us have seen
Yeah,
that.
just saw
I've
like
only ever seen a picture.
Yeah,
Mickey,
you never heard the
pick
line.
up while we're talking, please, of it. You don't have to play it. He was on that horse. I'm like, this man was going to do what he wanted to do to enjoy his life.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He lived life on his own terms.
Well,
Mickey, can you leave the horse picture up, please?
I'll tell you something, Tanya. I was with him one time, and there was a hoverboard, and we were just playing around, and I tried to get on it. I can't even stand on the thing, let alone ride it. Mr. Mays got on there on his first time, and he's zooming around.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
He was on the he had good knees. When he was on that you would always see him dancing. But when he went to the Dallas to Flint or Flint to Dallas and he did the white party there, he was breaking it down on the floor with them young ladies. I'm like, don't get down there, Councilman, and can't get back up. But he was giving him a run.
Beyonce is coming out the woodwork.
He was breaking it down, and look, he got his own shirt on.
Man, ever since he got those shirts made, that's all he wore in jogging suits, unless he was in the city council.
He wore some of them shirts to city council.
Oh, really?
He loved it. He had his own picture on it. He was about advertising himself, and he was a showman. That was Mays. So y'all hadn't seen the horse.
Not the whole thing. We
That's
just
a
saw the
video.
video, just a picture.
Yeah, he was on that herd. I think at the end of he said Yahoo or woo whatever he said at the end of the video. So Mickey, let's put up the next clip of him at the airport. And at the airport, he gets there and he didn't know that they would have a marching band. He was thrilled. He was so happy with that marching band. He was just wow stuff. They had a marching band. And he loved music. So Mickey, I sent you that one. Can you put that one up? Louisiana welcomes you, Eric Mays, Councilman Eric Mays. Uh-oh, you got some cheerleaders. Okay, Mickey, let's play it.
Welcomes you, Eric Mays.
Had you seen that one before, Hakeem?
No, I never seen it, but he called me that day about it. It's like, I came in, they had a marching band for me. I said, you live in your best life.
And he was. And he was in several parades he was able to lead.
Yeah.
And he loved it. He loved it. I mean, he lived life on his own terms,
Yeah.
which is what, we should all, be able to do.
Right.
And so Councilman Mays was a showman. I mean, he took everything as far as he could push it, and he would push to the limit. If he needed to speak, he needed his voice to be projected out, he'd be on the bullhorn.
Man, they
he
need
would
no
be the
bullhorn.
He would be the first one to do a protest. I have done. He's done the water protests. He's done, you name it. He's led the protest. I think the last protest him and I had, we were going to do. I had hurt my leg, and it was for the House of Esther. And so I told him, I said, Mays, I can't make it. I messed up my right leg. I had fallen. And next thing I'm watching the video. I'm gonna have to find this one. He done led the protesters for the House of Esther into the mayor's office.
Oh, wow.
He led them in there and they escorted him out. So then he protested in front of the mayor's window of his office and had them in there as he was chanting. And so as you've seen the people who were there, they were there with the point of order shirts, and the couple, they spoke. There was 3 of them. They were in that protest with the House of Esther. So that was that was really interesting. But Mays was always good for a protest. So
I've been in a couple with it.
You would have to, because he protested everything. If it was unfair and unjust, he was gonna let you know.
Oh yeah,
he was gonna let you know. So your dad had a very good friendship with the law group, and he was very loyal to the law group. So, are you being charged for any of the fees for them representing you now?
Do you want to answer? Or do you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. And attorney-client privilege, I'm able to speak freely?
Yeah.
Okay. No, we're not charging. We have a signed pro bono fee agreement, and so there is no fee. This is all because our law firm really loved and respected Mr. Mays, and we were good friends. And no, so we're not getting anything out of this.
Okay, so you're not charging anything.
No.
It's pro bono, and I know you guys are really close. And Mays just kind of had that. I don't know that he would connect with people and different types of people. He wasn't limited. So there's no attorney fees, and I don't know how you would navigate this for what it's turned into with, if you were being charged attorney fees. because there's a lot that is going on. There's a lot. And this has been just to get the burial. It's been 3 different, you'll have a 3rd court date. Actually, now it's probably just to see the body, just to view him.
Well, to see the body and hopefully get possession of. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm taking it one at this point.
Now it's a lot. So when he passed away, one thing that I knew, and I knew nothing about any of the funeral arrangements. That was not my place or anything. On my social media page, I made it very clear, and this was before any funeral arrangements were announced, that I wanted it to be known that Councilman Mays was not friends with Mayor Sheldon Neely at all. At all. He didn't even call him Mayor Neely. He would call him Mr. Neely or that guy. I mean,
I've heard it.
Yeah. He did not. And matter of fact, they had not really spoken since about 2018, and they were not friends, not at all.
That's around the time I was still staying down there. I used to hear him on the phone calls and all that stuff. I'm like, man, what is the beef between those two? I'm like, this.
And it was. I mean, it was. It grew. It grew because over the years, because Councilman Mays felt that, one, he didn't care for Liddell Lewis at all, who was the president of the Flint City Council, and he did not care for Mayor Neely, and he didn't care for either one of those. And Mayor Neely was to speak at the funeral, and people want to know, are those your wishes to have him speak at the funeral? What did your dad ever tell you about Mayor Neely?
He didn't tell me much, but it was more ears out, and me paying more attention than, cause that's one thing my dad never talked about. He never talked about maybe politics and anything behind the scenes. It was always about what I needed, how you doing, but I do know this. My dad will haunt me for the rest of my life. If I was to sit here and let any one of them 2 buffoons speak at my dad's funeral, I would never live that one down, and I would never let that happen.
So, and I did not know. I made on my, because I have a friendship. There's no way I felt he would have wanted even a proclamation sent, because Mays was very adamant. He had been put out for 30 days. He had been put out for 90 days. His wages had been garnished. He had stated numerous times that Mayor Neely put out false press releases against him. And those 2, he would not even ride the elevator with him. He would not. When I say would not jokingly, like even passing, he would not. I'm not getting on the elevator with him, because y'all lie. He fell out with Liddell Lewis.
I watched, I think it was after one of the city council meetings. He was talking to one of the news stations, and I seen how he was, going off about Neely and everything. And then, I follow a lot of the city council meetings. I watch them on YouTube and stuff. But, especially when I was staying here, so I paid attention more so than when I moved back home. But yeah, the whole city, I don't even have to know it. The whole city and beyond knows about those 2 right there.
So
I seen how you were talking about it too. So it's like I pay attention to everything, but that's something that the other side tried to plan that I was like, God, no, don't even think about doing that. But that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to get my dad the proper home going that I know is going to justify my dad's legacy.
So people from all over have been literally like everywhere. I mean, every state, that people have been sending their condolences and their concerns, and sending that that they are, they understand your grief, and so and making sure you had the support that you needed, not just from the law firm. There were friends who made sure, like for your family, that you had what you needed. You're a young man, you're married, you have children,
Right.
This is funerals are expensive. You didn't have to worry about the cost of the funeral. Lentil Law Group had stated that they would pick up the cost, and now the city has said that they're holding up the insurance policy, the $75,000 death benefit, that they're going to hold that up. And so you're going to be having some other issues about that. So these are things which are unexpected that have, come into play. So so I do want to give a thanks to Celeste with Tots and Lots. She made sure all of your children, your wife was dressed beautifully with clothing.
I appreciate her so much. All of you guys. Like I said, the support system has been amazing. And honestly, like I said, to these guys, to you guys, to the world, if I didn't have the support system that I had, honestly, I think I probably would have cracked by now. But me being who I am, Eric Mays' son, I know that he's going to fight until he can't fight anymore. So with that being said, I am his son. So I'm going to continue his legacy by doing the same thing that he would do. Fight to justice, sir.
And that's what it should be done. So with some of the we're going to be winding up here shortly, a couple more things. So the community has been outpouring. There was a shutdown of the GoFundMe, or there was to be no GoFundMes, but you do have a GoFundMe. That is your GoFundMe. And Mickey, hold on a second before we put that up, because we're going to put that up and talk about it, because you've been here, which is a cost. So your wife and your family is here with you as you go through Monday, which will be your third court date. And you've had friends of your dad's who have reached out to help to make sure some of the things, and you've had the law group who have not only did pro bono, but you have people who are assisting you. Yeah. So I'm
sorry, continue, go ahead.
No. So the GoFundMe, as it was shut down, this is your official GoFundMe that goes to only your account that you will receive the funds on, you and nobody else. Is that correct, Mr. Attorney Canizo?
Yes, that's right, Tanya. And that's what I wanted to say. Those other GoFundMes, they were created without my client's consent, knowledge, approval. Yeah, we don't know who made those, except for the fact that one of them, ironically, does indicate it's managed by an individual, Lee Mays, who we're still trying to identify who that is exactly.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you have not received, you have not had a GoFundMe at all.
Not up until now, but all the other.
So I'm gonna put up the GoFundMe, because I don't take money for anybody. I don't do that. No, orange is not my favorite color. Nor is stripes that go this way. So that's not my
it's not the new black for you.
All right. So you are incurring a lot of cost as you stay here and in the court system to fight to be represented for your dad. And so before we put up the GoFundMe, I told you I'm going to put up this surprise. We're going to do a throwback, a serious throwback. Mickey, can you put up the pictures of Councilman Mays? Now, Councilman Mays has got some pictures that are coming out. One I call Hottie Mays, because the picture, I'm like, he was kind of hot back in the day, way back in the day, Hottie Mays. But then these are him, Mickey, where he is at Michigan State.
Oh my God.
Had you seen those?
No.
So Mickey, can you blow that one up? Yeah, look how young he was. And
oh man.
So that's him at Michigan State back in the day. And Mickey, there's another one. Can you put that one up? And so now look, he's looking very studious as he reads an Ebony magazine.
Oh my gosh. Wow. This is at Michigan State? Is he there right there? That's
I was told these were at Michigan State when he was.
Wow, dorms look so different back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, he went through some phases. You know, we all do as we age. You know, so I wanted to share. I wanted to share those actually with you. So I want to go back to um the GoFundMe. So if you can put up, Mickey, the GoFundMe. So this is your GoFundMe. You have incurred expenses, and so while you're here fighting just to for court, you're incurring expenses every day, and it gets pretty expensive. You know, you have a family of I think 5 of you are here, and it's a lot every day. You have not received any money or funds have not went to you. Is that correct?
Correct.
So anyone who has sent money, it has not went to you.
Correct.
You received $0.
Correct.
Okay. So Mickey, can you scroll it down a little bit? So this is the actual GoFundMe. And is it possible for you to put a, I don't know how to, Mickey, what is the, can you scroll it down or back to the top? I'm sorry, back to the top. So how do they know it's in memory of Eric B. Mays? So make sure that it's not a copycat one.
And how you know is if you read below his picture there, Tonya, it says Eric Hakeem Mays is organizing this fundraiser. That's the one.
Okay.
That's the official one.
Okay. Can you blow that up, Mickey? Because I know there's going to be a lot that's out there. So Attorney Canizo stated underneath Councilman Mays' picture, it says Eric Hakeem Mays is organizing this fundraiser. And so I know people have contacted me. How do I give? What can I do? And I think you were waiting until you probably didn't anticipate that you were going to have to go through this much. I cannot imagine. And so this is the one that will go to you, and it's yours, and it goes directly to your account.
Yes.
Okay. So for everyone out there, if you are listening, this is the one that people have been asking. This is his actual Hakeem, the son of Councilman Eric Mays. That this is his GoFundMe. And so this is the one people have been asking. And I would not share a GoFundMe because you'll get copycats and you'll get people who are people who will have fake accounts or copycat accounts. So I wanted to make sure before I shared anything that we had an official one, because it'll go to anybody else's account.
And I thank you for that.
Yeah. So, if everyone could, if you could donate to his GoFundMe to help offset expenses, his next court date is Monday. Is Monday. And so he's got his family that's here with him, which is a cost every day because you got to eat 3 times a day. And, you have children and, children are busy. And so if you're out there, so I don't know, so I'll put it up on my page so that people will have it. But look for at the bottom, Eric Hakeem Mays is organizing this fundraiser. So make sure you verify it, that you're given to the right one. So as we wrap up, Attorney Canizo, I'm gonna get to you next, but is there Hakeem, is there anything you want to say to anyone?
Just thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the continued support. Keep supporting me till the fight is done. It's not been easy, but like I said, without you guys, I don't know where I would be.
Well, you're in my prayers to continue to move forward. I know this is a difficult process. I don't wish anybody to go through this, and especially during a funeral and a time that you're grieving. And it is. It is. And Attorney Canizo, and I want you to know, people are, some of the things people are saying on here. Your dad was a legend. He was not just TikTok fame. He didn't even know about TikTok. When they started making them shirts, he was like, let them make them. You know, that was just kind of his attitude. Yeah. He was not worried, you know, let them make them. You know, some of his phrases, I ain't stood you. Point of order. Then it was point of information. Then they switched it to request for information. When they go low, I go lower. You know, he's got
low, I go nasty.
Right. And so he's got a lot of catchphrases and things that, you know, he will always be known for, that people, you know, resonated. He resonated with all groups and ages and different backgrounds. So Attorney Canizo, anything that you want to say before I log both of you off?
Sure. I would just say, you know, this is obviously a very difficult time for Hakeem and his family. So I would just ask that the public respect his privacy, you know, keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers, and try to keep the speculation and the rumors online down to a minimum if that's possible, because I mean, he sees that stuff and I'm sure that that's not fun. So that's all I would ask.
Yeah. To keep the rumors down, to respect the family and their wishes as you go through the process. And the process has not been an easy process, you know. And I'm going to say, Hakeem, I appreciate you coming in. I wanted to make sure that it was a safe, comfortable platform so that people really get a glimpse of who you are and, you know, what you're going through, and to be fair. And I wanted to make sure that I was showing you some love on here. I wanted to make sure that, and Attorney Joe Canizo, I appreciate you taking the time out today to be with him. I hope you weren't worried that I was going to get into some of the other stuff.
No.
And to make sure he was represented. Mickey, I'm going to stay on, but I'm going to, and Mickey, are you up? I need your voice up so I can talk to you. So I'm going to continue. Thank you, Mick. So I want to tell you thank you, Eric Hakeem Mays and Attorney Joe Canizo with the Lintel Law Group, for taking the time to come up after things surfaced last night with an affidavit of paternity and the insurance policy. People really want to understand where is this going. You've now stated that basically it's going to court on Monday for the third time, and at that point, Judge Brian Piquel, you are in hopes that he will make a decision to move this forward so that Hakeem can finally see his father and make burial arrangements that he finds fitting and suitable for him. It is my prayer for you and your family as you go through this process, that you have support and that God camp angels out around you to keep you safe and to help pull you through this. Mickey, I'm going to have them, Attorney Canizo, thank you. You know, I'm gonna let you guys go down. My show go a little long, y'all. And y'all
well, thank you for having us, Tonya.
Thanks for being here. Thank you for showing up this morning.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Mickey, you can if you can drop them down, Mickey, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Mickey.
Yo.
Your thoughts. Any thoughts?
No, I'm good. I'm just sitting back listening.
You know, I hate to see a family go through this, but it is, I guess, what it is. And it is my prayer that the family at some point be able to mend this and work through this, because this is tough. I mean, this is not something that's easy. We're talking about a family, and a death is splitting the family. So it is my prayer that they be able to work through this to get it resolved. And so that, you know, we can, you know, Councilman Eric Mays can be laid to rest. You know, funerals sometimes can be difficult. And he had an untimely death that I don't know if you ever prepared for it, but this was not, you know, no one was prepared for it. And Mick, if you can put up the tots and lots up there, please.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get to it.
No, to Miss Celeste, if you are out doing your shopping, she has children's clothes, and I call them dress church clothes. Celeste really, showed a lot of love and support to this family. She really and truly did. She went far and beyond what was originally asked of her. When I don't know, making it, do I need to resend it or?
It's up there.
Okay. Can we put this is Tots and Lots. Can we put the address part up, please? She's located, thank you. Yep. She's located 3011 North Linden Road. She gave in to make sure that the children were dressed properly along with his wife. It was over $1,500 worth of clothes, and she set them out. The original request, Arthur Whitson went to her and asked to give 3 outfits. And him and I talked, and also Harletta Martin and Beverly Biggs. And I'm like, no, they're going to need 2 outfits. There's 2 days. It's going to be 2 days at the time of the plans that were made, that they would need 2 sets of dress clothes. And so Miss Celeste is always a gem. She allows me, when I work out, my mother has had 4 strokes. She'll allow me to take the clothes home and try them on and bring them back, because I've been shopping there for forever. She said, Tanya, there is a need. She says, I'm not going to give 3. I'm going to take care of the wife and give the second set for the children. She donated in her shop, Tots and Lots. She donated all of the clothing so the children could be properly dressed. There had not been a GoFundMe for the family until right now that you just seen. It had not been put out there. And so that is the official GoFundMe, which states for Hakeem Mays, organized by Eric Hakeem Mays. And so that's the one that is out there. So let's show Celeste at Tots and Lots some love. She went over and beyond at the point where Arthur Whitson reached out and said, hey, can you give 3 outfits? And she went, when I spoke with her, she ended up saying, hey, let me just take care of all of them. And she did. And there were many people around helping. As the community, you have his friend, Mr. Drysdale, Daryl Campbell, he donated. You had Harletta Martin, who's been helping. You have Beverly Biggs, who has been helping out there and taking the kids to get clothes, 7 days worth of clothes she did. And that was separate from this. So they would have clothing and tennis shoes, and Harletta took them shoe shopping. And I mean, it's been, these individuals have really wrapped around and said, you know what, while you're going through this process, let us help you take this off of you. So to those people, I want to send a shout out to Beverly Biggs, a shout out to Harletta Martin, and a shout out to Arthur Whitson for helping to make sure this family, and especially when they're taking, you had Beverly and Harletta making sure that the ladies, the girls had what they needed, and the process has continued. So the community is making sure that as they go through this process, that they would have proper attire to attend the funeral services. And so anyone out there gives a shout out to Tots and Lots. And it's not just kids' clothes. They sell adult clothes, and it's a boutique. It's a boutique for women and for children. So shout out to Miss Celeste. So this was actually, Mickey, this might be my shortest one. My shortest show.
Gotcha.
So I want everyone, this is if you're on here, you can also please, in order for us to get to show you and bring you different views, we need you to donate to 810 News Media Group. Can you put the crawl up, Mickey?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
It'll be across the bottom of the crawl. It's going to be Cash App $ 810 News Media Group. It's going to be Cash App 810 News Media Group. We're able to bring this to you. This is not, I don't get paid for doing this. This is to make sure that news or happenings or events in our community are able to get out, because most often the voice is not heard in the city of Flint. So if you can donate to Cash App, $810 News Media Group, even if you can just give $5, you can give $5. You can give how far is it? 600. How far do Cash App go up, Mickey? I don't even know.
Me neither. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know.
You want to give 25. If you want to be one of the monthly donors who donate $25, donate to $810 News Media Group. I'm able to bring you these types of events and stories and people because, number one, we're kind of like the media often doesn't cover what's really happening in our community. And people always say, well, the streets are talking. This is stuff coming to you so that you get to see it and hear it for yourself. So if you can donate to $810 News Media Group, $, and it's on Cash App, we'd appreciate it. We're able to keep this type of programming because of viewers like you. And listen, we appreciate you. Mickey, where are our viewers from today? Because I ain't even had a time to just shout out to everybody.
Oh, you know what? I'm waiting. Arkansas, Mississippi was in here. Alabama was in the morning.
Get out of here.
Yeah, they had Alabama was in here earlier. But if they can put it back in here, I'll put it on the chat where everybody at.
Okay, listen, look, throw in the chat where y'all at. And I appreciate y'all for, is what Pastor Theroke was saying, sticking and staying. Was that his St. Louis in the house? Hey, Christina. So is that what he would say? Sticking and staying. Columbia, South Carolina, vet, Renee Jackson, Lake County. Listen, they still in here, Mickey. They still in here. Tia, hey, Tia, I'm everywhere, here, there, and everywhere. Atlanta, Georgia, Auntie, and we appreciate y'all, sticking and staying.
They just with the popping up, it's just coming everywhere.
That's Maryland, Chicago.
Yeah,
okay.
Memphis,
Tennessee, Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas. Hey, pen that one with Houston. I had spoken to Councilman Mays, went down to help. He helped for her campaign. And they flew him down there. And she's in Congress. Oh my God, I'm having a brain freeze now. But he went down to help her. He went to Houston to help. And she's in Congress now. Darn it. I can't think of her name. But she wears like the braid around her head. But Houston, Texas. All right, now we appreciate you. Memphis, love Mr. Mays. Everybody did. He resonated with the people. Orangeburg, South Carolina. These are some new places. Fresno, California. Sheila Scott Brown. Detroit, Michigan. In the D. She said West Side. Yeah. Macon, Georgia. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate Atlanta. Yeah, I appreciate everybody in there. McDonough, and I hope that's McDonough, Georgia. That's Miss Marsh. I hope I said that correct. Truck driver Will from North Carolina. Wait a minute. I'm a truck driver from North Carolina. All right. Kenneth Miller from Crockett. I appreciate y'all coming in and sticking and staying. Orangeburg, South Carolina. I appreciate you sticking. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Savannah. I appreciate you. Palatka, Florida is in the house. Maryville, Indiana. La Mama. Yeah, I appreciate y'all sticking. Tampa, Florida. Edgar. I appreciate y'all coming in and staying. This has been as this family goes through a difficult time, if you are a praying person, let's pray for the family, the entire family, to keep them, together so that they can move through this process. It's unfortunate when you have courts get involved to make a decision. South Carolina, 704 bound. Hey, Kermit Lyons put 5th Ward. Okay, Kermit. Michigan out 5th Ward. Rhoda Murphy, Charlotte, North Carolina. Dayton, Ohio. Okay, just oil, hair, and body solutions. Okay, Dayton. It's unfortunate the courts have to make a decision. If nothing else you get from this, make a will. Update your beneficiaries. Let people know of your wishes. If you have children or whomever you want over your estate, give them a copy of the will, or let them know what the will is. If it's in a safe deposit box, if you keep it, at home in a little, your desk or wherever, let someone know what your wishes are, and then have a will or write it down what you want and have it signed by, have it notarized. Let someone know what your wishes are so that when it's time, because one thing we're going to do is live, die, and pay taxes. So that your wishes will be carried out in the manner and the way that you want them to be carried out. So if nothing else that we have learned, let's take this as a learning lesson as this family works in the process. Update your beneficiaries. Make sure your children have, your children know. And I've done it myself. I'm like, you know what? My daughter's gotten married. I needed to update that. Make sure you update and family know what your wishes are so that, in your, they can grieve you in your time of bereavement or in their time of bereavement, and they don't have to worry about the wishes. Alabama standing strong. Hey, Otis. So, Mickey, anything, Alabama, anything you want to say, Mickey?
Nah, I ain't got nothing to say. Got to get ready to go pick Nicole up at 12.
All right. Well, I am going to look, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one. And Mickey, I appreciate you helping to navigate this and being here with me in the morning. But if y'all want to help 810, donate 810, Cash App 810, $ 810 News Media Group.
Right.
I don't know. Listen, right. Cash App. And I told you, Mickey, you need a big sign. So you put the big sign right up there in the middle. So it's right there.
You know what? I'm finna get to working on that because I got a few things I got to do anyway. I'm finna grab her and get to working on some stuff.
Well, that would make it easy. Well, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Enjoy your weekend. All right. Thank you, Mickey. We out, y'all.
All right. Y'all have a blessed one.